Doing great.
We got 16. 16. We know that 20 is my magical number. I'm gonna get a little sad if we drop below 20. It looked scary on Monday, but we made it up nice and high.
Yeah, let's go, guys.
Doug,
If you're on the replay or on Facebook, come on to the Zoom.
Because we want to see you, we want to hear you.
This is
When
Doug, can
Lynn
you do
is
me a
on?
favor?
What?
Can you do me a favor? Every time I come on, your little green box saying sharing screen is in the place of where I can click to there. So,
Stop interfering, Dougie.
So I messed up Gwen. Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble.
I didn't want to mess up Gwen.
I'll get to heaven one day. The Lord's going to say, "What were you doing to Gwen?"
So
Sorry, Lord, I did not know.
who's Phoenix Four? Is that a new person?
yeah, that's my guess. His name is Reggie Lane.
Hi, Reggie.
And
Hey.
Reggie is joining us as a partner, as a new.
Hi, how you
partner.
doing?
Yes,
All right.
there you go. There you are.
Welcome.
Great.
And Reggie found, his daughter found me on Ancestry. And if you knew my family, you would automatically say that Reggie was a Fields. That's my family name on my grandma's side.
Huh.
And yet we had not even known each other before last year when his daughter contacted me through Ancestry. And my mother was alive, and I called my mother and gave her some of the names that Adrian, his daughter, had given me. And my mother started to talk about these people as though she just saw them yesterday.
Oh.
And she said, the funniest thing she said, "Oh, I know them. They came down to Georgia and we were only little girls, but they were teenagers and we just wanted to be like them."
No,
And so now Reggie is joining our team.
Juice Plus
Hey,
is
well, welcome, Reggie. This is
Thank
a
you.
we call this lunch and learn. It's kind of a casual lunchtime. Well, at least where we live, it's lunchtime training session. That hi, Emma says hi. We talk about pretty random topics today. We do have we're going to go through some of our what we call systems. And hopefully you'll get some value. There'll be time for questions and stuff. And it always seems to be valuable, though. We know you're going to have a good experience.
Okay.
welcome to the
We'd
team.
love to see everybody. Cole, Teal, Alexis. Alexis R. Is that Lexi?
Yeah.
Lexi's got a
Yes, it is.
baby in the belly.
I do.
How you're doing?
Oh my gosh. I'm like currently in the bathroom getting ready. Otherwise, I would turn the camera on.
No cameras allowed.
Tell us how your Juice Plus pregnancy is.
It's going great. I am like feeling really good. I'm already 32 weeks and just have like the slightest of discomfort. So I really think it's a big part due to Juice Plus.
Oh, we're so glad. So glad that you have Juice Plus.
Well, hey, everybody. I actually have a friend on today. Her name is Elma, and she's a new partner who just signed up this past weekend. So, Elma, I'm so happy you can be on here.
Hi, yeah, sorry. I was just in the transition of doing the virtual school with my son. So I will show my face in just a minute here, just taking care of some mommy duties here.
We're glad you're
Hi,
here.
everyone. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Jane,
Hi,
for
Alma.
welcoming me.
Hi.
Yeah, she's so sweet. We met at our eye doctor, actually. She was working at that eye doctor at the time. And so she's a sweetheart and she's a single mom. And so she's excited about this community and everything. So happy to be on here today.
Welcome. And who is Teal under? I'm sorry, I missed that. I forget. Teal. And then Nicole. Yeah, I know Teal came and Alma came over the weekend to the Winter Summit. I remember the names. I love that.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So welcome to the team Teal also. Wonderful.
Doug, I love your background there. That is so cool.
Oh, thanks. That's my new one.
Yeah, I love it.
So I love my backgrounds. Actually, but I'm not in a place that it's a problem today. But yeah, I do like it too. If you can always search online for awesome Zoom backgrounds.
I'm sorry, Doug, I was gonna say if it wasn't for the light hanging down, it looks a little bit like a prison cell to me. I'm sorry.
Exactly. I thought it was
Yeah.
a jail, and I was like, Doug, what happened?
No way. I love it. It's like a New York City apartment to me. It looks
That's
super
what I'm
cool.
thinking. I thought it was kind of like hipster.
Yeah, that's what I
Like a
think.
hipster coffee shop, he's thinking. I love those places. Well, I would love to call on somebody to share their story to start us off. And I'm thinking, Kristen Bosse, are you available? I know you've got your mask on. She's at work. I just think you're the perfect fit.
I'm at work.
Can't do it.
Doing other things. She can't. Okay.
Well, I'm actually doing a lunch and learn on Monday.
Okay.
So can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Monday. I'm doing a lunch and learn. So if you want to pick somebody else.
Yeah. So you went and let.
And I have people coming in and out. So
Yeah. But yeah, Monday. Can't wait. Okay, I'm gonna pick somebody else. I'm gonna see unless somebody wants to volunteer. I would love it to be somebody who signed up for the product and the business at the same time.
Okay, I'll go since I'm not available for the whole time. So just want to share. Well, first of all, welcome all the new people. That's so nice to have you with us. I'm going to give you the short version. When I'm a cancer survivor, and so after being healed of cancer, I ate only a plant-based diet, and I was juicing every day. And then I really thought I was really healthy, but I had so much inflammation in my body that I lost range of motion in one of my hands, and it was really painful. And I really didn't know what else I could do. I was doing everything I thought I could do. But I was introduced to these plant powders, and I would love to say it happened overnight, but it didn't. And we know it's not a cure for anything. But over time, I regained complete range of motion in my fingers, which was amazing to me. And I take these 2-hour Zumba classes that have people a third my age stopping to rest. So now I've got the energy and the vitality I had when I was in my 30s, now that I'm in my 70s. And so I'll be eating it for the rest of my life for sure. So that's the short version.
Okay, great. So tell us, and I might have missed it because I was also looking to make sure we're live good on Facebook. Why did Juice Plus make sense to you? Like pretend you're back there as a new person and how you would share with other people. It made sense to me because just maybe answer that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When I first heard about it, I really thought I wouldn't be interested. A lady stood up and said, I'm going to share with you fruits and vegetables in a capsule. And I said to myself, oh, really? Because as a naturopathic doctor, I'm all about natural things that are real. And I just I couldn't wrap my brain around fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Well, by the time she finished talking, when she sat down, I said, I want that, and I want to join you. I'm interested, and I want to become a partner with you right away. And the reason, so I share this with everybody because it's real, it's live, it's raw, it's fruits and vegetables. We all need fruits and vegetables. And because it has clinical research that proves. Hi. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to turn that off.
Can you mute yourself?
Oh, I was looking for who I was supposed to mute.
Thank you, honey. I didn't know.
Hold on.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
I'm like, who's that? Everybody's muted.
Okay. All righty. So why am I sharing it? Because I think that everybody could use more nutrition, and nobody, I don't care who we are, no one is getting the amount of nutrition that we think we're getting from the fruits and vegetables that we eat today. And it's so important for us to have this kind of internal protection.
Okay, wonderful. Doug, do you want to go ahead and share your screen? Thank you, Nalani.
Yeah.
So we always want to cater to the newer people because we're all signing up new people to come on the team. So it's good to revisit why, you know, somebody would sign up for the product and the business at the same time. Doug, I hear you talking. He's outside the room. Go ahead and share your screen. We heard from Eric Worre with GoPro, and you know, it could be really mind-boggling when we listen to GoPro and Eric Worre's like, you need to know your 10 systems, and we always hear about a system, and that everybody should know the systems so that we can duplicate. Well, we have systems in place, but we may not know the names of them. So he actually outlines the systems. And so one of the first systems is what we do know, which is sharing with other people to get customers, customer acquisition. And the other ones are listed here. Doug, do you want to talk about them for a second?
Yeah, well, I was going to say that I love what Nalani said. I love, you know, it's just so, the products are just so awesome. Sharon started, for you new people, Sharon started doing this about 20 years ago. You know, it took me kind of a while to get on board health-wise. But since doing so, we've just seen great results, not only in our health in our family, but in prevention, less doctor visits, better energy. It's been awesome. I love the complete smoothies that I've been able to use as a meal replacement in the morning, sometimes in the evening too. And it's just been really helpful with cardiovascular health for me, and also for as a part of when I'm losing weight. So it's super. It's fruits and vegetables. It's so simple. Like, everybody needs it. So doing this as a business, joining the team, I don't know. There's different reasons why people join the team. Some people join because they're excited and they just naturally are sharing. But then other people join because they want to be a little more intentional, you know, and share with friends and family maybe. And that might be a way to make $300 to $500 a month, you know. But then there's also people like Sharon and I and many others on here that have decided to do this as like a serious business. And it's so cool that you can do a little bit, and that's cool. And you can do it your way. There's no pressure. There's no quotas. There's no limitations if you decide to do it really at a higher level. So we both come from school backgrounds. She was a school guidance counselor. I was a school administrator, a college program administrator. And this has become all we do. And not all we do like in our whole life, but as far as a career. But it's just a wonderful business. It's an amazing community, as you can see, meeting the people that not only introduce you to this, but meeting others. It's super exciting. And we like to try to keep it very simple. It's really important, even as you learn early on how to do this business, to break it down nice and simple and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Not because there aren't maybe better ways even or different ways that you could be doing this. But if you do quote the systems that we teach, then it's super easy for you to bring new people into the business and have them have a way to start it up. And that might even seem like not a big deal if you have like, what if you had 5 people on your team? No big deal. You just can teach them whatever you're coming up with in your head. Maybe you guys make it up as you go. You would probably be successful. But the systems we have are tried and proven over 20, 30 years even. Of course, integrating newer things with social media and whatnot. But when your team gets bigger and bigger and bigger, I mean, we have like 900 people on our team. We don't even get to meet at least half the people that come on the team. But the systems are in place so people can still have success just by understanding the system. So like Sharon said, at Eric Worre, he was really talking about systems a lot. He was focusing on that. So we made these slides before this Eric Worre, after the last one actually. And we've been trying to integrate this in without overwhelming anybody, but the cat's kind of out of the bag with the Eric Worre this time, because now people are saying, what's our system? Systems. And we're like, okay, don't worry, we got systems. So here's basically everything we do in our business. If you break it down, you're either getting customers, caring for customers, getting partners onto your team, or starting up brand new partners. Then on the bottom, what we call core rank, that's the basic thing we want to try to get everybody to. That's QSC. So everybody coming on your team is not going to be an NMD. That's okay. But we also don't want people to come onto the team and just kind of sit there and like not do anything because maybe they didn't know what to do. Maybe they weren't motivated. I don't know. But if we have this goal of everybody gets the QSC, that's a good goal. And that'll really move your business forward because some people will get a taste and say, oh, I want more, you know? On the right side, what about conference attendance? What role do conferences play in our business? Recognition, communication, seems simple, but it can be chaos if you don't know where to look for the information. Skill development, like getting better at skills, which is a deeper thing we'll get into later. And then leadership development as you move up the team. So I think I can get to this, Sharon, if I go to this, let's see.
It's just the next slide.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm on the slides. Let me get to the slides. Huh. What's wrong with me? Oh, let me go to slides. I'm really sorry.
If you want.
I mean, we only need one slide, right?
Right, it's just one slide.
We're going to talk about the first one. Let me just open it up. All right. Could have just started here, right? All right, so today we're going to talk about customer acquisition. And let's look at this really quick. These are the basics of how we get customers. Now we can drill down in each one. Basically, we want to teach people. So if you're brand new, we teach, keep a list. You know, we just started somebody up last night. Hopefully she'll watch this replay. Hi, Gabby. Make a list. That's the first thing. She even intuitively said, well, I guess I'll write down people that I can think of.
Well,
you
she
know,
was already thinking of, she's like, I'm already thinking of so many people.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, good, write a list. It was very natural.
And then there's, you share your story, which we'll talk about how to do that, and then share information with them and then follow up. It's a very simple system. You should make sure that you know this though. So, because when you start somebody up, it's like, what do I do to get started? Well, it's super easy. We're going to keep a list. You're going to reach out. You're going to share your story with those people. Then you're going to share some information, like either a video or invite them to an event. And then you're going to follow up and see what they thought. That's all we do. It's very simple. So Sharon, why don't you go ahead and we'll start drilling down. We can discuss. Do you want to keep this shared or do we want to see faces?
Well, let's hear from the leaders. I mean, I love seeing faces, but I think it's important maybe to keep it up.
I'll come back to it. Like every once in a while, I'll pop it back up.
So Michelle, when you look at that, how about you comment as a new person on those steps? Like just comment on what a new person, just anything around that.
Jordan. Sudden. As soon as you guys call on me, someone walks in and it's loud. Okay, so that list, it says keep a list, share your story, share information, and follow up. That is pretty much what I did when I started. And it wasn't like a formal system. Well, I guess it was because we had a starter guide where you could make your list. And I felt like making the list was so important for me because there were so many people I thought of in the beginning, but then there were more people I continued to think of as I was having conversation. I was adding them to the list. So it kept me on track and then sharing my excitement and my story. So I signed up for the product and the business on the same day. So I didn't really have much of an experience, but from the information I learned from attending an event, I was just blown away at how powerful adding more fruits and vegetables into your diet could be. Like I saw the potential, I understood, I grew up taking vitamins and I realized, oh my gosh, there's no research behind what I've been taking for most of my life. And there's research behind fruits and vegetables. This is incredible. So it just made sense to me, the fact that I knew my family wasn't eating enough fruits and vegetables. So it was easy to explain that, like to share that perspective with people. And then I didn't really say too much because then I would guide them to watch a video. But back then we had DVDs. We didn't have an easy clickable link like we do now. So it's easier than ever. But I shared a DVD when I could, and I forgot how I was able to get them this information as quickly. Oh, I invited them to events. That's what I did. I had events at my home. So I was brand new, having events within the first 2 weeks of joining the business. And that really just like skyrocketed the momentum in my business, was having that event, start having those conversations, and then having a group of people that then they went and were sharing with some other people, and they decided to join me in this. I was like, I was so brand new, guys. I didn't know what I was doing, but thank God for your sponsor, because Sharon is my sponsor and she just knew how to guide people to the next step. So that's why you really want to stay in connection with your sponsor, because they're here to help you. You don't want to recreate anything as a new person. We already have the system, and that's what they're teaching us here today. So following up, that is key, because sometimes people, everyone's different. It took me a month before I actually signed up and ordered my product, but I'm sure it was well worth it for Sharon, because now I'm one level away from the top level of leadership. But honestly, it shows that you care when you follow up with people. It's not aggravating. It's not annoying. I really know this is something that can help you. And I'm following up because I know how much this can benefit you. And I want to give you the choice to say yes or no. I don't want to make a decision on your behalf. So that is my 2 cents.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna have to ask you some questions, because I feel like I was a part of her lists, like, because she had an active list going all the time, and somehow I would picture it, because she's like, oh, well, let me go to my list. And so what did you use for your list? Let's just talk about that for a second, because people might be like, well, how do I do that? You know?
Okay. So Sharon gifted me, when I signed up, a starter guide. We had these starter guides back then. And in the back of the starter guide was an area where you could have like a list of people, like around 50, I think would fit on the list. And so I took that home and I started writing in people I went to high school with, because we were still friends. Like a lot of people I was still friends with, like my really good closest friends, my family. Then I started writing in all my ex-coworkers, because I had 3 previous corporate jobs, and I'm a relationship builder. Like I love people. So even if we're no longer working together, if I made a connection with you, we were staying in contact, right? So I was reaching out to those people. I was reaching out to people that I had met through having kids. Well, I had 2 little ones at the time, but people I had met through having kids. I thought of everyone I knew who had kids, because I was like, oh my gosh, one of the main reasons I took a serious look at Juice Plus was my son. He was 14 months old, super picky eater, always sick, just like, oh my goodness. So when I realized what it could do for him and how he could get this nutrition in his little body, I said, I have a bunch of friends that have babies too, or little ones, and they probably are struggling like me. So then I reached out to every single person I knew with kids, which was a lot. You know, we were at that age where we're all having kids. So it was just like, anywhere I went, I was sharing this. If I went to the hairdresser, I was talking about it. If I was at a birthday party, now Sharon would laugh, because every time I got invited to a birthday party, Sharon was like, who did you tell? And I was just like, oh yeah, it came up, because I was just like, how could they not want to know about an easy way to keep their family healthier? You know, we're eating cake and we're having conversations, and ironically, health always seems to come up in conversation. I notice I don't even bring it up. Like everyone else talks about how sick everyone is around them. So it was just really easy to say, well, I've started using something that can keep you a lot healthier, and you're getting all these fruits and veggies. And so it just, I feel like I'm thinking of Joy, because her word for this year is limitless. And I feel like that is the potential we have, like it's limitless in who we can speak to about this. But come on, we already have a base of people that are close to us that we can start with. So I don't want to hear any excuse. At the age of, I'm now 44. Sharon told me when I started this business at 34, or was I 35? I think I was 34. She was like, do you realize that by the age of I forgot what age, but you already know like over 5,000 people. And I was like, what? But if you think about it, over time, you have met all these people. And I mean, I was reaching out to people I hadn't spoken to in years, but they weren't offended by it. Like, I really shared, like, I was very upfront, like, I thought of you because I know I've been struggling with my kids, and I don't know, I know you have little ones, and we're all in the same, this may help you. And it was like, no pressure. Like, this is just, I want to let you know something that I feel like is of great value. You don't have to say yes or no, but I'm just giving you this information for you to make a decision. So, and it was great because I got to reconnect with a lot of people that we've kind of lost touch a little bit, and we got to reconnect. And even if they didn't say yes, that was okay. Like, so yeah, that's my story.
Awesome. Okay, so I love all that, Michelle. And I'm sure it was super encouraging to picture that for everybody, because you are somebody a lot of people look up to, and to hear your beginnings. I think they always love to hear how you started. I'm gonna just show. We'll focus a little bit in on the list. Okay, so how she said that there was a starter guide. We have a starter guide. It's under the freedomrevolution.com. Hopefully you could see that okay on the screen. Yeah. And then if you go to getting started United States, you end up on this screen. And a lot of what we're talking about is on there, getting started. And if you go down, there's the quick start, which we went over the other day. Lots of good information. There's the success guide. So you can print that off and actually use that as a workbook. Okay, even a worksheet to get to that core rank that Doug talked about. Also down here, making your list. So this is one of the options, the memory jogger. And then there's one that actually helps jog your memory. So I'm going to click on memory jogger. And I know for me, it was something that they said was a really good idea. I think it's very natural to write down names of people. Okay, there's some information on how to do it, but I like being able free for all to write down who do I know. And I like to think in categories of my life, like, okay, my relatives in Ohio, my closest relatives, like my nuclear family, my people I used to work with at Hartford Insurance. And then that way you're thinking of Hartford Insurance, you're not just thinking of that one best friend or two best friends that you hung out with the most, but you're thinking of all the acquaintances that if you were to reach out or pick up the phone, you're like, hey, remember me? I used to work in the same office. It doesn't need to be like your bestest friend. It's just somebody you knew. And so the memory jogger is considered like a business plan. Like it's not necessarily you're going to get to them like right away, all of them, but it's a way to dump your brain with all the people onto a list. And then that way you know that it's not just the 5 immediate people that you keep thinking of, that you keep hammering on, maybe even depending on where you're at in the business, but it's all the people that you actually know. So you could start off just doing 50, you could start off doing a lot more than that. The other categories are like neighbors, my mom's friends, like some of my customers are my mom's friends, and it depends. So that's just one memory jogger, and there's lots of good sheets on here that you can print. And I've always updated my memory jogger. I know you guys may have heard me say before, like I'd be at a Bible study and people would be popping in my mind. So then I would have another new list, so it's always making lists so that you can continually actively coach yourself in this business. Okay, I need to contact these people, or I haven't contacted these people yet, and just keep that running list. Okay. And so that's that kind of list. Let me just move this for a second. Okay. Then we've got this one. Let's see, who do you know? This just kind of makes you feel like, okay, it's not just your friends and family, like who you do business with. Of course, your social media people. I mean, that's pretty natural for you to think of them. Sometimes, though, it's hard to just go on social media and find people. You have to actually go to your friends and really be methodical about looking at their walls and stuff, because not everybody shows up on your news feed. So anyway, but we cover a lot of social media stuff. Let's look at the other types of things. People in your cell phone or your address book. I love the way Kristen Bosse, she'll go to her contacts in her phone, which for me is like 1,000 people. and just do Wheel of Fortune. You know, she'll set aside some time, like say 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, 15 minutes. She works, so she goes out to her car and makes calls, things like that. She'll do Wheel of Fortune, just, you know, spin the wheel on her contacts and you know, pick somebody to reach out to provide a next step or to touch base. So you can do that. And there's lots of different ideas down here, you know, your relatives, your grocery store manager. I mean, a lot of times some of these are applicable for your tower garden too, like restaurant owners, hotel owners, karate teacher, any teacher, you know. So this is just to help jog your memory beyond those initial people you might think of, okay? Because we know a lot of people, as Michelle said. All right, so those are a couple ways to have lists, and we'll get to maybe somebody who uses Teamsy, and we'll do that in a minute. But I want to go back to Nicole Medina. So let's talk about the system, the customer acquisition system. And Nicole, see if you can remember the 4 parts, and then tell us as a new person how you did those 4 parts, okay? And if you need me to refresh your memory, I will.
No. So keeping a list,
Uh-huh.
sharing your story, sharing information, and then following up.
Yes.
So
Good job. Part of it is knowing the system.
So for me, I was very apprehensive of making a list. I don't know why. Because, and I think just because I was so, I don't know, I kind of had like a preset thing in my brain that I was like, no, you know, I don't want to seem like I'm selling anything. So I made my list. And I think we also, when I started, we would do like a friends and family call. And we did that where you could invite like everybody that you knew, and just be like, this is what I'm doing now. So I did one of those. I didn't have very many people come on that. But I also, my story has developed so much over time. It just keeps changing. So I have to keep rewriting my story. But yeah, and then just sharing information, like Michelle said, with moms, and just, you know, now I just kind of look for opportunities wherever they are. Like yesterday, I stopped at Walgreens to pick up some pictures, and I had a thing on the counter, and the lady was like, "Oh, is that elderberry syrup?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's something." She's like, "Oh, it looked like the same bottle. I just bought some elderberry syrup." And so then we had a conversation about, you know, taking, you know, stuff for extra immunity and that kind of thing. So that was a really good opening, you know, thing.
Okay, so at first you didn't have a list, but because of the friends and family call, you probably made a list, maybe.
I had to make a list, yep.
So that you could invite to that. And the friends and family call is like a support call, and it's really your closest friends and family that we invite. And, you know, if people show up, great, it's one exposure. You know, in this business, there's a number of exposures. So the list, then the information, you share information, or no, you share story, then information, which can be an event or like the friends and family call, or a video, whatever, and then following up. So how did you do with follow-up?
I'm horrible at follow-up. I mean, it depends on the person. Like if it's somebody that I see on a regular basis, then I don't have any problem following up. A lot of times I'm very absent-minded, I feel like. So sometimes I will, you know, I'll share stuff with someone and then I forget to follow up. Or, you know, I'll remember that I didn't follow up with them. So then I'm like, oh, you know, I'm so sorry. You know, what did you think? I need to get better at that. I need to create a better system to keep myself on track for follow-up.
Okay, well, does anybody have any comments about that? I think I heard Doug. No.
I'm sorry, I'm putting a bunch of stuff in the chat.
Oh.
Like
Okay,
here's
go
our
ahead and explain
recommended.
the chat.
Well, I was saying when it comes to a list, there's different ways to do it. There's the paper, like you showed, a memory jogger. Some people like to use a spreadsheet. In fact, if you watch the list video with Jenna and Jake Root, I think they use a spreadsheet and they color code it. Using your phone notes. I like in the notes section, I used to do this. I used to keep hot, warm, cold, and I kind of go in between systems. Kurt Beavers taught me this one. Cold is who you want to talk to. Warm means you started to talk to people. Hot means you've introduced Juice Plus and you're in the follow-up phase. And you can just slide them between the lists. Some people use Teamzy. And I think it's, if you look up Teamzy with a Z, I think there's actually a link on the, in the startup guide for that maybe. Or other contact, customer management systems, they call them CRMs. Some people have other ways. I mean, I've heard of people like tagging people with certain tags in Facebook or whatever, but I don't know, it gets weird. Then the other thing is after, like we were saying, you tell your story. So you meet somebody on the list or you talk to somebody on the list, you share your story, and then you send a follow-up so that you're not the expert. You're not vomiting all over them with a bunch of info. This is what we usually just, for a new person, we say, just send this. And so this is kept in my phone. And it's a note that's what to say is what I call it. And so if I met Nicole at the dog park, like I meet people now, I would follow up and say, hey, Nicole, it's great to meet you today. I recommend the Juice Plus Trio blend of fruits and veggies, and also their phenomenal shake. This is what I take and would not do without. Check out these videos. I'll follow up tomorrow and answer any questions. And just kind of give them that little hoop to jump through. Give them info and a hoop. Then you start the process of following up, which, as we know, isn't going to always happen right away. You got to keep doing it. Be persistent, but loving.
Right. Maybe you could put that in the Facebook live stream also for them, if you don't mind. That'd be great. Okay, Kathy, can you take us through your process with these 4 things and try to remember to mention the 4 parts of this system for customer acquisition?
Okay. I'm constantly adding and making lists because I'm coming across new people. I share my story, try to do it pretty quick because mine can just drag out, but you really need to do it in a short amount of time. Share the info. I try to sometimes just give them a brochure. The one thing I just did just a couple of days ago, now that I have a tower garden, which I'm so excited about, I posted, we have a Facebook page for our subdivision, and I posted a picture of a heaping pile of parsley. And I posted the picture and I said, my tower garden is going crazy with only 2 plants of parsley. So does anybody want some parsley? And so I thought, well, I could drop it off at their house. And then a lady contacted me and she goes, I would love some. And then I thought, how about have her come by because we're in the same subdivision. Let her come by my house and I'll show her the tower garden. So she came by the house. I gave her a gallon bag full of parsley and probably a half of a quart bag of basil. And so we sat there in the driveway and just talked about Juice Plus. But I'm like, you know what? This is so much fun. I've never gardened. I know nothing. So if I can do it, I know you can. You just watch that little spigot if it needs water. Anyway, so that was really cool. Then I got another one yesterday. A young, I think he's not a pilot, but he's here on the base. But he's in our subdivision. He goes, do you have any more parsley? And I said, absolutely. Come on over. So he came over yesterday and only had about 30 minutes before I had to go to something else. So I'm showing him and I said, so do you have kids? And so I gave him some samples of the gummies. I said, okay, I take the gummies. I know I'm an adult, but I take the gummies. But I'm like, let your kids taste these gummies. I'm curious to see if they like them. And so I showed him the tower garden and I fixed him up and I cut it while he was standing there because I thought I want it to be really fresh. And I said, I never realized that herbs and bell peppers and stuff like that, they actually have a fragrance. They smell good. And so anyway, so he's taking pictures of it. I said, I'll send you a video of Tim Blanks. He's the one that came up with it. And I said, it's the coolest story. And I said, it's even in the airport in Chicago. So I said, I'll share more about it later. But just take these to your kids. And I said, your kids will love. And if you want to bring your kids over, he has 3 kids. I said, if you want to bring your kids over, I'll let them pick off and taste it and look at the squash and all this kind of stuff. He goes, I think my kids would really like it. And so anyway, that was the most fun I've had in a long time, because I'm like, how do you share Tower Garden if you're not hauling it around to places? But coming up with the idea, or especially posting, the first time I posted on our subdivision, I posted it was in my front window. And I said, FYI, this is a Tower Garden and I am growing salad and vegetables, nothing else. Nope, I am not harvesting anything illegal. But anyway, but in case you pass by my house and it looks like there's something from Area 51, no, this is literally a Tower Garden, and you're welcome to stop by anytime and I'll show it to you. So I just think this is kind of a cool new way, especially since it's winter and people, you know, they don't have their fresh gardens. And I'm like, this is the best way to do it. Okay. And then so for the follow-up, I'm working harder at the follow-up because I just love going and grabbing new people and telling them about it. But follow-up is very important. And sometimes following up with customers that may be canceled. And the cool thing is follow-up to me, even if they're not your customer anymore, follow up with just seeing how they're doing. So how's your health doing? And I know you were having a test run. And so is everything going okay? And I think showing people that you care for them, even if they're not a customer, because a lot of times it's easy just to, you know, shovel in all the customers and care for them. But I think when you care for them, even if they're not a customer, I recently got another customer to come back just because I kept following up. So how's this going? And, you know, just staying in connection. So that's basically all I do.
I love that. You're not like burning bridges. Oh, you're not ordering from me. You know, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I mean, we have a long life to live. People sometimes go in and out. I mean, we have relatives that do that. Oh, I'm not taking Juice Plus anymore because they're looking at their finances and they need to see the value. But then they start feeling bad or end up, you know, on antibiotics and whatever. So they come back. So always leaving that door open and your resource. That's good. So yeah, following up, they say the fortune is in the follow-up. So, you know, whenever you can kind of swallow whatever fear you have and just have that moment of courage and say, hey, just want to check in with you. And, you know, whatever it is you want to say to them, speak from the heart. No one's ever going to have a problem with that, you know? And they're going to appreciate that you're professional in following up. I used to picture having a headset on and working at American Express. Would they be scared to follow up? They're getting paid 8 to 5, right? They're 8 to 5 getting paid to say, hey, this is whoever from American Express just giving you a follow-up call. That's what you got to do. You know, you just got to put on your professional hat and not worry about the results. A lot of times we're too worried about the results that it holds us back. So I would love for Stacy, I don't know, your camera's off, so I don't know if Stacy is available, but I know you guys have heard the story of all the times I followed up with her. And Michelle mentioned me following up with her. Okay, so these are 2 people that are leaders that I had to work hard for. Okay, you guys, I had to jump through some hoops. With Michelle, I'll get to you, Stacy. Thank you for coming on. Michelle, it was like, I don't understand why she's not signing up. Like, she keeps saying it's perfect, sounds good, sounds good, it's perfect. I had her on a new team call. I had her at Julie's house. I had her at a wellness presentation at my house. We did a play date. Her I mean, everything was like green light. She was saying all the right things. She was saying, I told some people at the library about it. I'm like, why the heck is she not signing up? So I just had to keep going. You can't worry about whatever. You just got to keep doing exposures and inviting to the next thing. That's why we have events all the time. It just changes the conversation. So anyway, finally, what happened was I invited her to a wellness presentation where I was speaking about our research connected to autism. And I know you guys are going to now send me Voxers or whatever, but I had a specialized wellness presentation, which didn't apply to her and did not apply to her guests. But she brought her guest over, and the guest was so excited and wanted to sign up that then Michelle said, well, I'm signing up first because her doctor friend was about to sign up. So that's how it goes. Doug, you wanted to say something before I go to Stacy?
Well, I was just gonna say, so as you're doing, like, we all experience that. I mean, we all do. You still do.
Yeah.
So what do you? Okay, so if you're following up with me,
Mhm.
and before you even get to the point where they're saying, "Oh yeah, that sounds great. Oh yeah, that's awesome," before you even get there, you probably reach out and text me, and then you don't hear from me, and then you try it again, and all that stuff. So what is the self-talk process and the SFD and all that stuff, and how do you deal with that?
Right. I mean, you have to just overcome those bad thoughts. Everybody's got them, and defeating thoughts, and think about your purpose and your conversation with that person. Hey, man, Doug was super excited about this. I don't know why he's not texting me back, but I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to do my job, which my job is to follow up. Until he says that he doesn't want to hear from me, I'm going to do my duty, and I'm not going to care about what he's doing or not doing. I'm going to continue to expose him to our awesome. I know what I know what I know. I know it's going to help Doug. I know he's going to love it once he actually takes the time. So I've got to put it on myself always. Always the responsibility lies with me to intrigue him or create curiosity or meet him where he's at so that he'll finally latch on, to use a breastfeeding word, but not in that way. So that he'll finally come around to where I want him, which is for him to be as excited and to understand what I know. So sometimes it takes patience and educational exposures for him to get it, because everybody's at a different place. They've got to get over some paradigms that everybody thinks they're healthy just because they're absent of symptoms. Everybody thinks they eat healthy or they eat enough fruits and vegetables, but they don't understand there's raw, vine ripened, variety, dark dense. There's all kinds of variations to eating fruits and vegetables besides the number. And there's a lot of things that we've learned that we can share. So as long as I can stay in my lane of what I'm responsible for, and then either he wants it or he doesn't, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm going to just, it's like a roulette wheel. It's like I'll come back to Doug and I'll see that he hasn't returned my text, whatever. I might have just seen a video that I think he would like. Hey, I think you might like this. I'm going to ignore that he's ignored me or hasn't answered me. I'm not going to take it personally. So that really helps me a lot. And I like to say you brainwash yourself, or you wash your brain of anybody who's ignored you or hasn't returned your call or whatever, and you give them grace. You don't worry about what the reason was. And a lot of times I'll call somebody, I'll just say, hey, this is Sharon with Juice Plus. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I haven't called you back or whatever. They're always sorry or whatever. And I don't take it personally. So don't take it personally. And it probably isn't personally. Okay, Stacy, go ahead. Thanks, Doug.
What is it you want me to say?
Okay, going back to the system, list, right? Our story, which I also like to say, creating curiosity or excitement. You don't have to pin down to your story. You're creating curiosity, excitement, or you're telling your story. Following up, giving information or an event, and then following up. Those are the components of getting a customer, which then might lead to a team member also. But I was saying about following up, but you could talk on the list, you could talk on any of those or all of them. We're just trying to teach that system of customer acquisition so it's cemented in our brain. That is the process. Sometimes people try to not do it in the system. It doesn't work. So list, story, education, or information, follow up.
So you want me to speak on how, when I was brand new, how I fit into your system with that, or what I did with my new people?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, well, I would say, you know, Doug, you asked, how do you get over the fact that not everybody, you know, responds back? How do you know like who to spend your time with? And I have thought of that, like, why was Sharon so persistent with us, or with me, willing to step out and follow up again? And I think from the very beginning, Sharon, you thought Stacy would be a good team member. And based on our conversation, it was because I was involved with MOPS. I was young, I was 23 when we met, but I was interested. I was easy to have a conversation with. We made a connection as moms, and it was deeper than just the Juice Plus. Like, maybe I'm speaking for you, Sharon, but Sharon thought, this is someone I would like to hang out with. This is someone I would enjoy spending time with. She seems like she's doing things in life and she's being a part of things. She's got a network of people for being 23. We were military, so I had a whole different circle of friends and influence than she would have access to on her own. And then I had this moms group, and she offered, hey, could, or I would love to come speak for them. So she was looking for a way to partner with me to then influence and share with these other ladies. So if you're talking to somebody and they're vaguely like, yeah, I don't know if I'm really interested, or they're just surface kind of having a conversation because you're there, but they're not really listening, you still have to be wise about who you're going to choose to spend time and following up with. There were things about Michelle. I remember Sharon talking to me about Michelle right from the beginning. Like, she loved Michelle. She loved her energy. She loved her smile. She loved what Michelle was about. She loved, and she was super excited about like the person of Michelle. And it wasn't like she was saying, maybe I can get her interested. Maybe I can get her to call me back. Even though there was definitely a series of follow-up with Sharon and myself, it was because I didn't know what I didn't know. I had no clue about nutrition, and I had no clue about business. I wasn't looking for a business. I wasn't, you know, I wanted to be home with my kids, but Sharon kept going back to that connection. And maybe that was what was worth it to you, Sharon, to call me again, is because you knew we had that personal connection, that there was more than just, there was something different about me than all of the other people that were on that list that you had spoken to that day at the booth. I was at the top. I think you said you put a star by my name. There was just something different about that conversation. And so we can spend our time chasing people that we had, that had a mild interest that we speak to, or we can really be intentional about good conversations, good contacts, real connections, and then persistent follow-up with those that play that game back with us. We call it sort of a chess game. You make a move and then they make a move. You make a move and then they make a move. When Sharon and I spoke on the phone, even though I wasn't ready to order, I still had questions. I had objections. My husband didn't want to take or spend money on vitamins. I hadn't listened to the cassette tape she gave me. Whatever it was, there were objections, but an objection isn't the same as a no. An objection really means, you know, I've been thinking about this, but I have questions. Our job is to help people overcome that objection. And that's typically through another resource, which is what Sharon sent me, a VHS tape, mailed it to me. That's some serious commitment there, right? Had to go to the post office and actually mail it. We can text a picture now. She mailed it to me and said, will you and your husband watch this if I send it to you? And I said, yeah. So it came in the mail and I said, hey, I told Sharon that we would watch this together. Will you watch it with me? And he said, sure. At the end, he understood it wasn't a vitamin. She helped us overcome that objection. Then the next time we spoke, I asked her if there's a way to like host a party and get some free Juice Plus, because that's what I did with Pampered Chef. I didn't know, like, I just thought I love those kind of parties. And she said, better yet, I can help you pay for your Juice Plus for the rest of your life. And I was like, all right, don't know what that means, but okay, let's talk about that. I remember asking her if the price had ever gone down. Like, I don't know, like computers over time, they get cheaper. Maybe Juice Plus gets cheaper. I was concerned about my budget, which is ridiculous because my husband was a captain in the Air Force making seriously good money. And there were 3 of us in the family at the time. So it was just my limited thinking. She helped me overcome that. And again, saying, you know, we can, I can help you pay for your family's Juice Plus, so it's not coming out of your budget. And I liked that idea. I didn't know what that looked like, but she was helping to solve the problems or the objections that I had in my head. So it was a series of calls and connections. Sometimes I didn't answer her back. I remember standing beside the answering machine and listening to her say, you know, leave the message saying, hey, I'm just connecting back with you, want to see what you think of it. It wasn't because I was not interested in what she was saying. It was because I hadn't done what I said I was going to do. I told her I was going to listen to that cassette tape. I didn't want to get on the phone again and say, I didn't listen to it again. I felt like I owed it to her if she was going to follow up again, that next time she called, I was going to have listened to that. And I did. I listened to the tape, but I still didn't call her. I didn't say, hey, Sharon, I could listen to the cassette tape. I just didn't know. And I was sort of leery of being a part of you know, I remember thinking, I don't want to think back 6 months from now and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I fell for that. Like, ridiculous, fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Why was I thinking that that was even a thing? And then, you know, I didn't know what I didn't know about that. And so Sharon helped me overcome that as we started just even talking about joining in as a team. It was, you know, who in your life would you like to share this with? And I was already thinking of my parents and my sister, and I had a couple friends that would be interested. My first 3 friends that were at the top of my list completely shut me down, wouldn't even listen to the cassette tape, wouldn't even have a conversation with me, handed it back to me like, I'm not listening. And then the other one, that was 2 of them. And one, we had spoken about going into business together, making like gift baskets in our garage or something like that. Like, we were thinking, I just knew for sure Lara was going to be interested. She had kids like I did, and that she would want to do this business with me. And Jane, I knew for sure Jane would be interested, and she just was not at the time. And I didn't know what I didn't know then either to help them overcome those same objections. But 2 of those girls on my list were still friends, and they've never ordered Juice Plus. So it just wasn't for them, right? But what if I had taken that and said, Juice Plus is too expensive, none of my friends are interested, and maybe this just isn't for me. I'm not good at this. The 3 people I shared with shut me down, and they're just not interested. I don't think that this is a product for everyone, and I just can't do this. It sort of irritated me because by then I had some series of education that I knew a little bit more about Juice Plus, and this was a real thing, and it was super simple, and I knew it could have benefited them. And so I was like, well, it's just not for them, but I do have other people. And Sharon helped walk me through that. She really held my hand. She met with me. We did some events, and she came and did those events. Like, she worked with me together to help those people order. About 3 weeks in, I realized I'm talking to people, but nobody's ordering. If I'm going to do this, I'm not going to waste my time, and I can't help them unless they're taking it. And so that's when I said, okay, Sharon, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. I remember saying those words, tell me what to do. And she said, we need to do an event, and I will come do the event for you. You bring the people. And I said, game on. And I think we did 5 in 5 weeks. And then I went to visit family in New Mexico, and I had to do the presentation. My sister invited her people. I learned it. I just did it. It was like saying yes to the next little thing, to the next little thing, to the next little thing, and not making excuses. You can come up with a whole bunch of excuses, and Sharon and I can probably out excuse yours. We can come up with one better. Doug could come up with one better. Nicole could top yours, and Michelle could erase yours and replace it with something even better. We all have them, but it's just say yes, then say yes to the next thing, yes to the next thing, and just keep moving forward. All of those become skill sets that you develop that help you with the next step and the next conversation and the next phase and the next team member. There's no time you can gather all the information and then get a team member and then do really well with them. Like, it's all these little things in between.
Tell them why it's worth it in a very short couple sentences. Why is it worth it for them to follow up and all that good stuff that you just mentioned?
Well, for one, you're going to really multiply your impact. If I had just stayed as a customer under Sharon, it would have just been my family. Maybe I could have gotten my parents to order, but that would have been like handing off a relationship that's personal to me to Sharon. My mom didn't know Sharon. She didn't have any connection. My dad didn't. I just really don't think we would have stayed on Juice Plus all these years. So for one, the impact on our family's health, being a part of this community shaped how I thought about food and how I fed my children different when they were little as compared to how I had been fed or had been feeding myself. It greatly reduced our medical bills. My husband went from autoimmune issues of severe pneumonia at least once a year, most of the time twice, 4 years in a row, to it's now been 18 years with not even one upper respiratory infection. So drastically changed our health picture and reduced our medical bills over the years. So the impact of 18 years of this nutrition on our whole family. I used it as my prenatal with my girls. They had a very different childhood. I was sick all the time. They have rarely been sick as children. So, and now as teenagers. So just the impact of that alone. Then you look at like my parents who have been on Juice Plus the same amount of time as we have because they stayed with me. I had conversations that I could educate them along the way, where Sharon in Florida, them in New Mexico, that wouldn't have happened. I just don't think we would have stayed on. I think we would have gotten distracted and got overstocked and then just eventually canceled and lost touch with Sharon as we moved away. And like, that makes me really sad to think of that because Sharon's been a huge part of my life. I feel like I've grown up in this company with Sharon and with the, NMDs above her pouring into my life and into my mindset. My mindset is not the same as it was 18 years ago. Yeah, I got 18 years older, but I think about life different. I see life different. I've been able to apply that to my parenting and to teach them a different way of seeing more and being more and dreaming for more and going after more. This has brought stability to our family's budget, real money that I can budget by, that I can pay for bills with, security, knowing if something happens to Jarrett, I'm okay. I can take care of myself and the kids. I have insurance through Juice Plus, which I thought of a long time ago. I wanted that insurance package because it just made sense. 80% of females will be dependent upon themselves financially at some point in their life. 80%. 80. Like, what are we doing to make sure that there is that security for ourselves and for our children? So those are just some of the things, Sharon, that I would say. But, I will end with this one. The impact that it's had on my health, I've had the chance to share that with others and build team members that share that with others. And the reach is so far now, it's hard to even measure that ripple effect. And knowing that I have information that can positively impact somebody's life and helping them transform their health, and then also their finances as well for those that choose it. I just think, what if I had not said yes? Where would our health have been that many years later? What would that have looked like if we had done nothing? And then what would our finances look like? What would my mindset look like? How would our life be different if I had not been introduced to this and said yes, 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 yes? It's a series of yeses when you're discouraged, or when you just maybe feel stuck, or you don't know what to do, or you have somebody new that's interested, whatever place that is, just keep saying yes. You're going to figure it out as you go. Just keep going. Don't stop. That's where it ends if we stop.
Beautiful. Yeah, yes is momentum. No is going backwards. So always say yes as much as you can. You might change it up a little bit, whatever the thing is, but say yes and move in momentum. And it really has blessed our lives so much. You know, the more that you're in it, the more you understand it. So I know a lot of you are new, but hopefully you hear our heart. You have found a gold mine for yourself, you know, for your health and for your future, for your family. So definitely keep on track and consistently keep in touch with your upline sponsor. Doug, you have any last words? Thanks, Stacy.
Great stuff today. Can't wait to share with you guys again on Friday. We're going to keep on the systems. It's really important for all of your team to know this stuff. So either get them on here, tag them on the replay, whatever you got to do. But let's keep learning. Let's keep growing. Let's keep getting better.
Yes, and hello to the 5 who are on Facebook right now. And if you're watching on replay, just write replay. We love to hear who's watching. Bye, guys. We'll see you on Friday. Tomorrow night is Dr. Phillips and Dr. Valentine. Make sure you watch Voxer for those invites. Have a good one. Thank you to all who participated.
Thank you, everybody. It was great.
Oh, thanks, Jamie. Bye, guys.